let's now turn our attention to running backs we want higher exposure to right now. And my first one is Isiah Pacheco. And I'm not even really light on him. I have like 14%, so I'm pretty good at the exposure number I'm at. But I really want to get this into the 20s. I am just so convinced Isiah Pacheco is going to be a league winner, especially in best ball when he's going in round 4, early round 4 right now. But even in redraft, I've jumped him up into what I consider the quote-unquote hero-worthy running backs. And let's talk about real quickly why I think that's the case. Well, one, we know Andy Reid has coached many hero-worthy running backs, whether it's Jamal Charles, Brian Westbrook. We see him, when he finds his guy, just use them on every down and use them so creatively in the passing game. And can Isiah Pacheco really be that guy? Well, we've actually seen glimpses of that for sure. Without McKinnon last year, he was an absolute beast. Yeah, sure, only running back 15 in points per game on the season. But when you look at the games without McKinnon, he averaged 22.3 fantasy points per game. We kind of defined that legendary season when Pat Kerrane wrote about it just so many years ago. It was defined as 23 points per game. So he was right on the cusp there in the games without Jerick McKinnon. He averaged a 14.9% target share. He was on pace for 353 total opportunities, 89 targets, 81 catches, 1,712 yards from scrimmage, and 21 total touchdowns for 379 PPR points. That was his season-long pace. If you extrapolate the games without McKinnon, nearly 80% of the snaps in that span, that would certainly qualify as a legendary season and shows you that he could be that pass-catching guy should he get the opportunity. He only was behind McCaffrey and Kyron Williams and waited opportunities after week 10, and they had nobody in free agency as McKinnon departs. And so why could this role continue in 2024? Well, one, he's gone, McKinnon, but two, you read the training camp reports, you see these highlights of him running these wheel routes, catching it over his shoulder. All the talk of Pacheco's work, quote, on his flexibility seems to be paying off. He hasn't lost that violent running style, but somehow seems nimble enough to avoid even the quickest Chiefs defenders, is the report. And then the biggest thing, in my opinion, the biggest news of all, why I'm confident, is when Reid got asked, how are you going to fill the Jerick McKinnon role? He did not hesitate to say, Isiah Pacheco is ready to do all that. He's good with the protections. He's good with the techniques, the fundamentals. He can run all the routes. He's got great hands. And then he backtracked a little bit. Well, yeah, CEH can do that too. But the fact that, boom, he snapped right to Pacheco, it tells you exactly how they feel about this guy. Reid is ready to give him that workhorse ceiling. I am all about it. And then you also makes the fact that this offense, I think, is going to be even better than they were by a long stretch, only 15th in total scoring last year. And then you add Xavier Worthy and Marquise Brown. Rashee Rice takes another step forward. I could see them easily being that Chiefs of old, where it's 50 total touchdowns on the year, 30 points a game, tops in the league, and Pacheco being a goal line hammer. I know they throw a lot, and that would be the kind of rub here is, they throw so much in the red zone. But Isiah Pacheco, he only got about, I think it was 17 carries from inside the 5-yard line, and he buried like 11 of them. He was a very high conversion rate on those. So regardless, I think that workhorse down roll, the McKinnon being gone, and Reid promising that Pacheco is going to be the one to step in, it has me thinking, especially at round 4, but even in late round 2 in redraft where receiver depth is so big right now, I could totally see myself mid to late round 2 taking Pacheco as my first running back to pair with an Amon-Ra St. Brown, and then you build out like Drake London in round 3, whatever it might be. But certainly in best ball too, where we're kind of focused here, 3 receivers, and then you get Pacheco in round 4 to be a true potential 20-point per game guy. Oh, I love it. I love these builds, and I know I have a lot already, but I'm going to continue to go all in on this guy.
Yeah, I think the quote that came out of Chiefs training camp from Andy Reid, one we talked about together, was super encouraging for those who are bulls on Isiah Pacheco in terms of his role as a pass catcher growing, because we already know he's going to monopolize the rushing work. The real question was his growth as a pass catcher, and that quote coming from Andy Reid, as well as some clips of him just mauling dudes. Drew Tranquil, the Chiefs linebacker, was one of the clips I saw, just mauling dudes in pass pro and just getting fired up about it. That's just real encouraging if you're a guy who's already above weight on Pacheco and looking to even build out that portfolio even further. I think that's got to be encouraging. And yeah, you mentioned the Chiefs' really high pass rate in the red zone. I believe it was the highest rate in the league last season, but he still has never cleared double-digit touchdowns. And that's not something a Chiefs running back has really typically done outside of Kareem Hunt during the Patrick Mahomes era. But I still think it's very much within the range of outcomes. outcomes, and his ability to break that double-digit touchdown threshold would certainly boost his fantasy value and pay off in a big way for people investing in him heavily.
What is up, you fantasy wolf? Thanks so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, share your thoughts in the comments, check out some more videos, and join the newest Wolfpack by subscribing below.